Stocks, and in terms of the recovery, it's the IT stocks which are recovering. So the Nifty IT index earlier today hit a 52-week low. Since then, the Nifty IT index recovered close to about 1%, and it's still holding on to that 1% up move. Names like Infosys, Emphasis, HCL Tech, Persistent are showing you gains of close to about 1 to 2%. On the losing side, it's many of the stocks with global linkages. So Tata Motors is down 5.5%. One, it gets a lot of revenues from the European region where there are fears of a recession, plus the pound is depreciated. The sterling is at a fresh, life low against the dollar. So all that's hurting Tata Motors. But even others like Hindalco, Tata Steel, again, companies with global linkages are weak.
Oh yes, and we'll speak to one of the companies which does have that global linkage. But as Reema's pointing out, there is some recovery. It has been sold into, and the IT pack is really pushing for the bulls today. But it's a good time to get a technical check on the markets as well. Let's welcome Himanshu Gupta of Globe Capital for just that. Himanshu, good afternoon. Thanks a lot for joining us. Well, the recovery has quickly been sold into. What are the charts suggesting? Is there more pain ahead?
Hi, good afternoon to you. Well, I think from an intraday perspective, the markets look too oversold. And I think a decent short covering, not only for today, but for days to come cannot be ruled out from the current levels. So if you talk about Nifty, I think 17,000 has been held today despite a weaker cues in the opening trade. I think one can initiate longs around 17,050 odd levels for a kind of pullback trade towards 17,250, 17,300 odd levels, keeping a stop loss below 16,950 for today. But if you ask me from a short-term perspective, have we hit a bottom? I think it will be too early to say. And I think the chart still suggests that we might retest that 16,850, 16,800 levels before we call it a bottom as far as Nifty is concerned. As far as Nifty Bank is concerned, again, a smart recovery. 38,500 put writers actually managed to defend that levels. And we have seen a decent recovery around 39,000, where again call writers have actually led to control this kind of pullback. And again, we saw some kind of shorting from those levels. So I think Nifty Bank again 39,000, 39,200 remains an immediate area of resistance. And on the downside, I think 38,200, 38,300 are the levels that can be tested here as well. But having said that, both of the indices look very oversold in the short term, and fresh shorting at these levels do not offer an attractive risk-reward ratio.
A minor rebound then from oversold levels, but we're not out of the woods when it comes to perhaps a little longer term outlook. What about stocks?
So stock specific, I have a long and a short idea. Asian Paints, a big beneficiary of the decline in the crude oil prices. And on the charts also, we have seen a good strength in the Asian Paints charts today. So I think Asian Paints is a buy around current levels for a target price of 35.40. And even if the markets actually manage to hold these levels, I think 3,600 kind of targets can also be seen here in the immediate near term. Would recommend a stop loss below 34.20 for Asian Paints. Second one is a short on Bandhan Bank. I think the charts are looking on the verge of a breakdown here. And if you see a breakdown below 216 Bandhan Bank today's session, we might see another 5 to 6% quick decline in this stock. So Bandhan Bank is a short with a stop loss above 267 for a target price of 250.
Okay, all right, Himanshu. Thanks a lot for joining us and taking us through your technical picks. That's all about markets, but let's get stock specific now.